I opened my acceptance letter from State University with shaking hands. Full ride scholarship, 4 years, everything covered. I dropped to my knees right there in the kitchen and cried like a child. I was 18 and stupid and so goddamn hopeful it hurts to remember. 23 now. Sometimes I catch myself in the mirror and don't recognize the person staring back. That girl who opened that letter? She's gone. What they did to her, what they took from her. You can't come back from that unchanged. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Graduation day. Cap crooked because I'd been up for 36 hours straight, working my last shift at the diner, finishing my final paper in the break room between orders. My feet ached, my eyes burned, but I'd made it. 4 years, degree in hand. I thought the hard part was over. During the ceremony, when they asked if anyone wanted to say a few words, something possessed me. Maybe exhaustion, maybe relief. Maybe I just needed someone to acknowledge what those 4 years had cost me. I stood up. My legs were shaking. I want to thank my Uncle David. My voice cracked. Amateur hour. I don't think he knows this, but he's the reason I'm standing here. 4 years ago, someone set up an anonymous scholarship for me. I never knew who. But Uncle David, I found the paperwork last month while organizing my files. It was you. You gave me everything when I had nothing. Thank you. The applause started. People were crying. I was crying. Searching the crowd for his face, ready to see pride, recognition, love. When I found him, my heart stopped. He looked like I'd slapped him, confused, lost. His mouth opened, closed. His wife, Sophie, grabbed his arm hard enough that I saw her knuckles go white. She was whispering something urgent, frantic. He shook his head slowly, his eyes locked on mine with this expression I couldn't read. Then my mother stood up, laughing, too loud, too bright. Rachel's always been so emotional. David, you're so humble playing it down like that. But I was watching his face. That wasn't humility. That was genuine bewilderment. Something cold settled in my stomach. Something that tasted like betrayal. You know that feeling when you suddenly realize you've been walking in the wrong direction for hours? That sickening moment when everything you thought you knew flips upside down? That's what hit me standing there in my graduation gown, exhausted and proud and so fucking naive. After the ceremony, my parents were on me fast. My dad's hand on my elbow, grip just a little too tight. Honey, Uncle David's been having some memory issues lately. Aunt Sophie told us. Early onset dementia. He's probably just embarrassed he can't remember. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to believe him so badly. Before I go any further, you need to understand who I was before all this, who I thought I was. I'm 23. Just graduated with a degree in social work because I wanted to help people, protect. People, be someone who gave a damn. Before college, I worked at a grocery store making $9 an hour, coming home smelling like produce and defeat. My parents always said we were comfortable, not rich, not poor, middle class, making it work. When that scholarship letter came senior year of high school, I cried for 2 hours. It felt like winning the lottery, like God or the universe or something had decided I deserved a chance. I spent 4 years destroying myself, 3 jobs. Morning shift at a coffee shop where I learned to smile through exhaustion. Afternoons at the campus library, reshelving books until my back screamed. Weekends waiting tables at a sports bar where drunk men called me sweetheart and left shit tips. I studied between orders, did homework on 15-minute breaks, my notebook splattered with coffee stains and grease. My roommates went to parties while I calculated how to make $12 stretch for 3 meals. I thought I was being responsible, building character, earning my future. My parents were proud of me. They said so all the time. When I called home crying from exhaustion, my mom would say, "This is what builds strength, baby. You're going to be so much more resilient than kids who had everything handed to them." I believed her. I believed every word. I trusted them the way you trust gravity, completely, without question. Turns out, I didn't know them at all. The week after graduation, I couldn't let it go. Uncle David's face haunted me. That confusion wasn't dementia. I've worked with dementia patients. That was shock. recognition of something he hadn't known he was supposed to know. So I did something I'd never done before. I went through my financial aid files, really went through them, not just the summaries I'd glanced at before. The scholarship documents were vague. Anonymous donor fund through the David Chen Educational Foundation, some entity I'd never heard of. Payments made directly to the university bursar's office. But there had to be more information somewhere, right? A contact number, an administrator, something. I called the university financial aid office on a Tuesday morning. I was working the opening shift at the coffee shop, and I used my break to make the call, standing in the alley behind the dumpsters because it was the only quiet place. The woman who answered was cheerful, helpful. "Oh yes, the David Chen Educational Foundation. That's your uncle's fund, isn't it? So generous. Established in 2019, specifically designated for you. Your uncle set it up the day after you got your acceptance letter." My phone nearly slipped from my hands. And the money. Where did it go exactly? Well, to your parents as your financial guardians. You were 17 when it was established, still a minor. Standard procedure. They managed the disbursements to the university. I thanked her, hung up, slid down the wall until I was sitting on the grimy alley pavement next to a bag of rotting lettuce. $30,000. Per year, 4 years, $120,000. I'd worked myself into the ground, maxed out 2 credit cards for textbooks and rent, graduated with $15,000 in debt despite working 3 jobs, lived on ramen and stress and black coffee, had a stress ulcer diagnosed my junior year, panic attacks my senior year. I'd missed my best friend's wedding because I couldn't afford the day off work, and the entire time there was money, my money. Money someone had given me, intended for me, meant to save me. My vision blurred. The alley tilted. I pressed my forehead to my knees and tried to remember how to breathe. When I could move again, when my shift was over and I'd gone through the motions like a ghost, I drove to my parents' house. Didn't call, didn't text, just showed up. My mom was in the kitchen they'd remodeled 2 years ago. I remembered that now. Remembered coming home for Thanksgiving and seeing the granite countertops, the new stainless steel appliances, the wine fridge built into the island. We saved up, Mom had said, running her hand over the smooth stone. Finally treating ourselves a little. I'd been eating 50-cent ramen and she'd been installing a wine fridge. Rachel, what a wonderful surprise. She moved to hug me. I stepped back. My body knew before my brain did. "Where's the scholarship money?" Her smile didn't falter, not even a flicker. "What money, honey?" "The $120,000 Uncle David sent for my college." My dad appeared in the doorway. They looked at each other. 1 second, maybe less. But I saw it. That silent communication. That shared understanding of something I wasn't supposed to know. I saw the truth in that glance, and something inside me shattered. "Sweetheart, you're confused." Mom's voice went soft, gentle. The voice she used when I was little and had nightmares, the voice that used to make me feel safe. "There was no scholarship money. You worked hard for your education. We're so proud of you." I called the university. They confirmed it. Dad moved closer. "Rachel, you've been under a lot of stress. Graduation, job hunting, that breakup last month. Maybe you should sit down. Have some water." "Don't." The word came out strangled. "Don't do that. Don't tell me I'm confused. I have the records, the foundation, the payments. It's all there. Where is it?" Mom's eyes filled with tears. Actual tears. The kind that looked real, that probably were real in some twisted way. "Baby, I think you need to talk to someone, a professional. This stress, these delusions, we're worried about you." "I'm not delusional." I was shaking, full body trembling like I was freezing. "The financial aid office confirmed it. David Chen Educational Foundation, $30,000 a year. You received it. You managed it. Where did it go?" Dad's face changed. The concern dropped away and something harder slid into place. "You need to leave. Come back when you're ready to be rational." I stood there in their beautiful renovated kitchen, paid for with my money, I understood now, and looked at these strangers wearing my parents' faces. My brain couldn't process it. Couldn't connect the people who'd raised me, who'd tucked me in at night and taught me to ride a bike, with this cold cruelty. Get out, Rachel. I left, drove home in a fog. Halfway there, I had to pull over because I couldn't see through my tears. I sat in a gas station parking lot and sobbed until my throat was raw, until a concerned employee knocked on my window and asked if I was okay. I wasn't okay. I would never be okay again. When I got home, my tiny apartment with its peeling paint and broken heater, the place I could barely afford, even with 3 jobs, I just sat on my thrift store couch and stared at the wall. My phone was buzzing. Text from Mom. Honey, we're worried about you. Please call us. We love you. We can get through this together. I threw the phone across the room. Heard it hit the wall with a satisfying crack. It kept buzzing. More texts. Cousins. Aunts. Are you okay? We heard you had an episode. Your parents are so worried. An episode. They were already spinning it. Already rewriting what happened. I didn't sleep that night. Or the next. I just kept thinking about every moment of the last 4 years. Every double shift. Every time I'd cried from exhaustion. Every meal I'd skipped to save money. Every friend's event I'd missed because I was working. And they'd watched. They'd watched me suffer and done nothing. Bank records took 3 days to get. I had to go in person, show my ID, explain that I needed records for accounts where my signature appeared. The bank clerk was skeptical until I showed her the scholarship documents with the forged signatures. When she handed me the envelope, her expression was sympathetic. I hope you find what you're looking for. I sat in my car in the bank parking lot, hands shaking so hard the papers rattled. Took me 10 minutes to get the courage to open it. There it was. Transfer after transfer. David Chin Educational Foundation to my parents' joint account. 30,000. 30,000. 30,000. 30,000. Every August for 4 years. Like clockwork. Like they'd been planning this from the beginning. I thought I might throw up. Actually bent over and gagged, but nothing came up. I hadn't eaten in 2 days. But that wasn't the worst part. There were other documents in the packet. Forms I'd never seen. Scholarship refusal letters. With my signature at the bottom. Except I'd never signed them. Never even seen them. The handwriting was close. Really close. But the way I cross my T's is different. The loop in my R. Small things, but I know my own handwriting. They'd forged my signature. Multiple times. To refuse money that was meant to save me. I drove to Uncle David's house. Didn't call ahead. Just showed up. On his doorstep at 4 in the afternoon, holding the bank records like evidence at a crime scene. He opened the door and I saw it immediately in his face. He already knew. Or at least suspected. Come in, Rachel. His living room felt too normal. Too safe. Photos on the walls of family gatherings, grandkids, happy moments. I wanted to smash every frame. He handed me a folder without saying anything. Inside were letters, emails, all from my parents to him over the last 4 years. Rachel has decided to refuse the scholarship. She wants to build character through hard work. We respect her decision and ask that you do too. Please don't contact Rachel about this. She's made her choice and bringing it up will only hurt her. You know how stubborn she is. Rachel knows about the foundation but prefers to pretend it doesn't exist. It's a psychological thing. Her therapist says not to push. I had to read them 3 times before they made sense. My therapist. I'd never had a therapist. They'd made that up. Made all of it up. I tried calling you, Uncle David said quietly. He sounded old, tired. Sophomore year. Wanted to check in, see how you were doing. Your mother said you'd asked them to tell me to stop. That talking about money made you uncomfortable. That it triggered anxiety. I never... My throat closed up. The words got stuck. I didn't know. I swear to God I didn't know any of this existed. He nodded slowly. Looked at me with something like pity, and I hated it. Hated that he was seeing me like this. Broken. Betrayed. I believe you. Sophie and I have been talking since graduation. Something felt wrong. So we... He paused. We hired someone. A private investigator. He pulled out more papers. Each one was another punch to the gut. Credit cards in my name I'd never opened, 5 of them, all maxed out. My signature, but not my handwriting. Loans against my apartment. How was that even possible? I wasn't on the lease alone. They co-signed, Uncle David explained. Told you it was to help you build credit, then took out loans using the property as collateral. The landlord is complicit. Got a cut. The room was spinning. I gripped the arm of the couch to stay upright. How much? Total? With the scholarship, the credit cards, the loans, falsified financial aid forms where they claimed you as a dependent when you filed independently. He paused, met my eyes. Just over $200,000. The number didn't make sense. Too big, too impossible. There's more. His voice was gentle, apologetic, like he was sorry to be the one telling me. They've started telling family you're having a breakdown. Your Aunt Sophie got 3 calls this week. Your cousins are messaging each other. Your mother is planning an intervention. An intervention? I started laughing, couldn't help it. Hysterical, broken laughter that turned into sobs. My body couldn't decide which reaction fit better. They're going to make everyone think I'm crazy. Yes, Uncle David's jaw was tight. That's exactly what they're doing. I went home, sat in my apartment as the sun set and the room got dark, didn't turn on the lights, just sat there in the growing darkness, holding the evidence of my parents' betrayal. My phone kept buzzing, text after text. Mom, honey, we're so worried about you. Please call us. We love you. We can get through this together. Aunt Sophie, Rachel, your mom told me what happened. I'm here if you need to talk. No judgment, just love. My cousin Emma, hey, heard you're going through something. Remember, mental health is nothing to be ashamed of. We all support you. They'd poisoned everyone. Told their version first, and I was the crazy one for saying otherwise. I threw up, actually made it to the bathroom this time, knelt on the cold tile and vomited until there was nothing left. When I finally stood up, caught my reflection in the mirror. Hollow eyes, gray skin. I looked like a ghost. Maybe I was. The next morning, I found the eviction notice taped to my door. 72 hours, $15,000 owed in back payments. I'd paid my rent every single month, never missed, never late. I had receipts, confirmation numbers. The note at the bottom explained, loan repayment on co-signed lease agreement. Default notice sent to guarantors. Per terms of lease, full payment due immediately. My parents had taken out a loan against my apartment, $15,000. Hadn't paid a cent, and now I had 3 days to come up with money I didn't have or lose everything. I slid down the door and sat on the floor of my apartment. My chest felt hollow, scooped out, like someone had reached inside and removed everything that made me human. 4 years. 4 years of sacrifice, of exhaustion, of believing I was building something, a future, a life, a better version of myself. All of it built on lies. Was I wrong to investigate? Or did I do what anyone would do? Drop a comment below. I need to know I'm not losing my mind here. I showed up at my parents' house the next day with the bank records in a folder. My hands weren't shaking anymore. I'd moved past fear into something else, something colder. Mom opened the door. Her face did this thing. This perfect, practiced expression of relief and concern mixed together. She'd probably been rehearsing it. Rachel! Oh, thank God. Come in, baby. We've been so worried sick. I walked past her without speaking. Dad was in the living room, reading the newspaper like it was any other Sunday. They both sat down on the couch, together, presenting a united front. I dropped the folder on the coffee table between us, papers spilled out. Explain. Dad opened it, flipped through the pages slowly. His face didn't change. Not even a flicker of surprise or guilt, just that same neutral expression. Where did you get these? The bank. Turns out when someone forges your signature on documents, you're entitled to copies. Mom's hand went to her chest. Forged? Rachel, honey, what are you talking about? The scholarship money. $120,000. Where is it? That's when my mother started crying. Not angry crying, not defensive crying, the broken, devastated kind. Her whole body shook with it. I can't believe you'd accuse us like this, after everything we've done for you, after we raised you, loved you, supported you. Supported me? My voice came out flat, dead. I worked 3 jobs. I have a stress ulcer. I'm 23 years old and I feel 50. You watched me destroy myself and you did nothing. We didn't steal anything. Dad stood up fast, the newspaper sliding to the floor. That money was sent to us as your guardians. We're your parents. We made decisions about what was best for your future. Best for me? Something was vibrating inside my chest, rage I didn't know I had. I ate ramen for dinner 6 nights a week. I missed my best friend's wedding because I couldn't afford the time off. I cried myself to sleep from exhaustion. That was best for me? Mom's sobs got louder, more dramatic. We were teaching you responsibility. Do you know how many kids get handed everything and turn out entitled, spoiled, unable to function in the real world? We were protecting you from that. We were making you strong. I stared at her, actually stared, trying to find something familiar in her face. You renovated the kitchen. What? 2 years ago. $35,000 renovation. I remember because you showed me the before and after photos. Where did that money come from? Silence. The wine fridge. The trip to Europe last summer that you posted all over Facebook. Tyler's new car for his birthday. My brother, their golden child who could do no wrong. That wasn't teaching me responsibility. That was theft. Dad's face went hard, cold. Get out of my house. Not until you explain the eviction notice. The loan you took out against my apartment without telling me. We co-signed to help you. That lease was the only way you could afford that place. You should be grateful. Grateful? I laughed. Actually laughed. You took out a $15,000 loan using my apartment as collateral, didn't pay it, and now I'm being evicted. I should be grateful for that? We needed... Mom caught herself, stopped mid-sentence. Needed what? I stepped closer. What did you need $15,000 for? They looked at each other again, that same glance, calculating, deciding what version of the lie to tell. You're not well, Rachel. Mom's voice changed completely, went clinical, professional. This paranoia, these wild accusations, the conspiracy theories about your own family, we think you need professional help. My blood turned to ice. Don't do this. We've already consulted with a therapist, Dr. Morrison, no relation. She added that last part with a little laugh, like this was all so reasonable. She agrees based on what we've told her that you're showing signs of a stress-induced psychotic break, the false memories, the inability to accept reality. False memories? I couldn't breathe. The room was too small. I have bank records, which you've clearly misinterpreted in your current mental state. Dad moved to the door, opened it. We love you, but until you're ready to accept help, we can't enable these delusions. It's not healthy for anyone. I stood there looking at them. These people who'd raised me, who'd taught me to ride a bike and helped me with homework and came to my school plays, trying to reconcile those parents with the ones standing in front of me now. Get out, Dad said again. I left. Because what else could I do? Stay and scream? Break down? Prove their point? I drove to Aunt Sophie's house. She'd always been the reasonable one, the one who saw through family bullshit, the one who told me in confidence that my mom could be a bit much sometimes. She opened the door and I saw it immediately, the discomfort in her face, the pity. Rachel, honey, your mom called me this morning. Whatever she said, she's very worried about you. Honestly, so am I. This thing with the scholarship, the accusations. They're not accusations. I have proof. I tried to hand her the folder. She didn't take it. Honey, sometimes when we're under a lot of stress, our minds can play tricks on us. We see patterns that aren't there. We convince ourselves of things that feel real but aren't. Remember when I went through my divorce? I thought everyone was conspiring against me, too. I was seeing signs everywhere. I felt the ground shifting under my feet, tilting. Sophie, please, I need someone to believe me. I do believe you're suffering. Her voice was so gentle, so kind, it made it worse. And I want to help, but not by feeding into delusions that are clearly hurting you and damaging your relationship with your family. They stole from me. Or you're interpreting financial decisions they made as your guardians through the lens of stress and mental illness. Rachel, you've been working yourself to death for 4 years. You're exhausted. You're burned out. It's not surprising your brain is trying to make sense of that suffering by creating a narrative where someone's to blame. I couldn't breathe, couldn't speak, just stood there while she looked at me with sympathy and pity and absolutely no belief. I think you should go home and rest. Maybe call that therapist your parents mentioned. Just take care of yourself, okay? She closed the door gently, like I was fragile, breakable. I walked back to my car, got in, sat there for 20 minutes trying to understand how this was happening, how they'd managed to turn everyone against me this fast. My phone buzzed, group text, family chat that had been mostly quiet for months. Mom, please keep Rachel in your prayers tonight. She's going through something very difficult and we're trying to get her the help she needs. If she contacts you with strange stories or accusations, please let us know immediately. We need to keep her safe. Responses flooded in within minutes. Praying for all of you. So sorry you're dealing with this. Rachel always was high-strung, even as a kid. Mental illness is so hard on families. You're being so strong. I was drowning. Actually drowning in lies, in this version of reality they'd created where I was the sick one, the broken one, the one who couldn't be trusted. Then my phone rang. Tyler, my little brother, 21 years old, still in college, the one they'd always loved more openly. Rachel, you okay? No. My voice cracked. I'm really not okay. Yeah. He was quiet for a minute. I could hear traffic in the background. Me neither. Something in his tone made me sit up straighter. What? Can we meet? Not at the house? Somewhere else. Somewhere they won't see. We met at a coffee shop on the other side of town. Tyler looked different than I remembered. Thinner, older somehow, even though it had only been a few months since I'd seen him. Dark circles under his eyes. He sat down across from me, pushed a folder across the table with shaking hands. I need to show you something. Inside were bank statements, letters, documents. They did it to me too, he said quietly. His voice was flat, emotionless, like he'd practiced saying it without feeling it. My college fund. Grandpa left me $50,000 when he died. For school. He was specific about it in the will. For Tyler's education. My hands were shaking as I flipped through the pages. Where is it? Gone. They spent it my freshman year. Told me it was for family emergencies. Medical bills, car repairs, keeping the house. They'd pay it back, they said. I believed them. He laughed bitter. I was 18. They were my parents. Why wouldn't I believe them? Tyler. When I turned 19 and asked about it, asked when they'd pay it back so I could use it for school like Grandpa wanted, they looked at me like I was crazy, said I must have misunderstood, that Grandpa never left me money, that I was being greedy and ungrateful for even suggesting they'd steal from me. Jesus, I believed them, Rachel. For 2 years, I thought I was losing my mind, that I'd invented this memory of Grandpa's will because I wanted the money so badly. But last year, I found the original will in Grandpa's storage unit. I was helping sort his things, and there it was, $50,000 for my education. Everything they said was a lie. He looked up and his eyes were wet. When I confronted them, they threatened me, said if I kept pushing this, kept spreading lies about them, they'd make sure everyone knew what a selfish, ungrateful son I was. They'd cut me off completely. No more help with tuition, no more car insurance, no more anything. So I stopped asking, started paying them loans every month to keep the peace. How much? $500 a month. For 2 years now. $12,000 so far. For money that was already mine. We sat there in the coffee shop, 2 kids who'd trusted the wrong people, who'd been systematically destroyed by the people who were supposed to protect us. What do we do? My voice was small. Lost. Tyler shook his head. I don't know. But Rachel, I believe you. Every single word. For the first time in days, I started crying. Real tears. Relief and grief and rage all mixed together. That night, I got the court summons, pushed under my apartment door. My parents were suing me for defamation and emotional distress. They wanted $200,000. The complaint was typed, professional, brutal. It painted me as an unstable, vindictive daughter spreading malicious lies about her loving, devoted parents. It included evidence, screenshots of texts I'd supposedly sent them, full of accusations and threats. Emails I'd supposedly written to family members. I'd never sent those texts, never written those emails. But there they were, with my name attached, and witness statements. Aunt Sophie, 3 cousins, family friends, all saying I'd become paranoid, erratic, dangerous to myself and others. I read it 3 times. Then I walked to the bathroom and threw up again. Nothing left but bile. They weren't just stealing my money. They were stealing my reality, my reputation, my entire life. When I came out, my phone was ringing. Tyler. They called me. His voice was shaking. Said if I testify for you, if I support your delusions, they'll sue me too. And they'll go after custody of my daughters. I'd forgotten he had kids, twin girls, 2 years old, the light of his life. They said they'd prove I'm unfit, that I have the same mental illness as you, that the girls aren't safe with me. He was crying now, really crying. I can't lose them, Rachel. I can't. They're everything. I know. I'm sorry. God, I'm so sorry, but I can't. I understand. And I did. I hated it, but I understood. I'll send you everything I have. All my documents, all my evidence. But I can't testify. I can't risk my girls. It's okay, Tyler. It's not. Nothing about this is okay. He hung up. I sat on my couch in my apartment that I was about to lose and felt more alone than I'd ever felt in my life. The eviction happened 3 days later. I packed what I could fit in my car, left the rest, drove away from the only place I'd called home in 4 years. I slept in my car that first night, parked behind a grocery store, doors locked, windows cracked for air. Every sound made me jump. Every car that drove by felt like a threat. My family, meanwhile, started a fundraiser. I found it by accident. Someone had tagged me before my mom deleted it. Help Rachel get treatment. They were raising money for my intensive therapy program at a facility that specializes in delusional disorders. The donations came in fast. 5,000 in the first day. 10,000 by the end of the week. I watched the number climb from my phone, sitting in my car in a different parking lot, eating a granola bar I'd shoplifted because I had $8 to my name. Every penny of that fundraiser money went straight to my parents. Have you ever felt completely erased? Like you're watching your own life being rewritten and you're powerless to stop it? Like you're screaming the truth and no one can hear you? That's where I was, homeless, broke, labeled crazy by everyone who'd ever known me. I lost my jobs next, all 3 within a week. The coffee shop manager was apologetic. Your mother called. She's worried about you being around customers in your current mental state. We have to let you go. Liability insurance, you understand. Same story at the library. At the restaurant. My mother had called them all, expressed her concern, mentioned my breakdown and delusional episodes, suggested it might not be safe for me to be working. Within a week, I was unemployed. Within 2, I was living in my car full-time. I showered at the gym until my membership expired and I couldn't renew it. Started using gas station bathrooms, hauling a bag of toiletries in with me, trying to stay clean enough that people wouldn't look at me with disgust. I ate from food banks when I could find them, day-old bagels from the dumpster behind the coffee shop where I used to work. Learned which fast food places had managers who'd pretend not to notice if you filled a water cup with soda. My phone kept buzzing with family messages, concerned texts asking if I was okay, if I'd gotten help yet. My mother posting updates about her brave journey supporting a daughter with mental illness. She gave an interview to a local parenting blog. I found it at the public library, using their computers. Supporting children through mental health crises, one mother's story. In it, she cried about how hard it was to watch me spiral, how she blamed herself for not seeing the signs earlier. how she just wanted her sweet, rational daughter back. The comments were full of support. "You're such a strong mother. This must be so hard." Sending prayers. I read it sitting at a library computer and felt absolutely nothing. I'd moved past hurt into this weird, numb place where nothing could touch me anymore. At night, parked behind whatever store or lot felt safest, I'd lie in my back seat and think about giving up, about how easy it would be to just disappear, to stop fighting. The thought scared me less than it should have. 2 months into living in my car, Tyler called again, 3 in the morning. His voice was shaking so badly I could barely understand him. "Rachel, I told someone. I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I found a lawyer, someone who believes us." I sat up so fast I hit my head on the car roof. Pain exploded across my skull, but I barely felt it. "You what?" "A lawyer, pro bono, works with fraud victims. I told him everything. About me, about you, about what they did. He's willing to take the case. Both of us." "Tyler, your daughters—" I know the risk, but I can't watch you destroy yourself while I stay quiet. I can't live with that." Hope. For the first time in months, actual hope. It felt foreign, dangerous. "When?" "Tomorrow, 2 p.m. He wants to see everything we have." I cried. Ugly, gasping sobs in my car behind a Walmart at 3 in the morning. "Thank you. God, Tyler, thank you." "We're family, Rachel. Real family." I showed up at the lawyer's office the next day with everything I had. Every document, every record, every piece of evidence stuffed in a folder that was falling apart. I'd been carrying it with me everywhere, terrified of losing it. Tyler was already there. The lawyer, Marcus Chin, no relation to Uncle David, was maybe 30. Sharp eyes, clean suit. He looked competent, professional. He went through everything methodically, asking questions, taking notes. His face stayed neutral. "This is good," he finally said. "Really good. Financial fraud, identity theft, forgery. We can build a case." "How long?" My voice came out rough. I hadn't talked to anyone in days. "Few months minimum, maybe 6. We'll need depositions, expert witnesses, probably more evidence, but this is a strong start." 6 months. I could do 6 months. If it meant ending this nightmare, I could do anything. Then the door opened. My parents walked in. I froze. Tyler's face went white. "What the—" Marcus stood up. Dad smiled. Calm. Controlled. Like he'd been expecting this. "Mr. Chen, we're here to discuss your immediate withdrawal from representing our children." "You can't do that. They're adults. They hired me." "No." Mom pulled papers from her purse, laid them on Marcus's desk with exaggerated care. "But we can inform you that proceeding with this case will result in a malpractice suit against you personally. We have evidence that you coerced our mentally unstable daughter and manipulated our vulnerable son into making false claims. This constitutes witness intimidation and exploitation of disabled individuals under state law." Marcus's face changed. He picked up the papers, started reading. "It's bullshit," I said. "Every word is a lie." But Mom had already started crying. Those same perfect tears. "Please, we just want our children to get help. This vendetta Rachel has, it's destroying her. It's destroying our whole family." "That's not—" Tyler started. "And Tyler, sweetheart, we know you're just trying to support your sister. But enabling her delusions isn't helping anyone." Marcus kept reading. His expression got more and more concerned. "I'm sorry." He looked at Tyler, then at me. "I can't take this risk. If what they're alleging is even partially true, I could lose my license." "It's not true!" My voice was too loud, desperate. "None of it is true." "I'm sorry," he said again. He wouldn't look at us. "You need to leave." We left, stood on the sidewalk outside his office while our parents' car pulled away. Dad waved at us through the window. Actually waved, like this was all so pleasant. Tyler turned to me. His face was destroyed. "I'm so sorry. I thought—" "It's okay." "It's not. I made everything worse." "Tyler, they called me before I called you that night, before I told you about the lawyer." He was crying now. Not hiding it. They said if I testified against them, if I helped you in any way, they'd go after my daughters. Full custody. They'd prove I was unfit, mentally unstable, dangerous, just like you. I hadn't known. He hadn't told me. They showed me the paperwork they'd already started, statements from concerned witnesses. Photos of me, they said, showed erratic behavior. They'd been building a case against me just in case. His voice cracked. I can't lose my girls, Rachel. They're 2 years old. They need me. I know. I'm sorry. He said it like a prayer, like he'd keep saying it forever if I let him. I'm so fucking sorry. He left, got in his car, and drove away. And I stood there on the sidewalk watching him go, understanding that I'd never been more alone in my life. That afternoon, police showed up, found me in my car in a grocery store parking lot. Someone had filed a harassment complaint. My parents said I'd been stalking them, sitting outside their house, sending threatening messages. I hadn't been near their house in weeks, hadn't sent any messages at all. Didn't matter. I was arrested, spent the night in a cell that smelled like piss and bleach. A public defender got me released the next morning, but now I had a record. Now I looked exactly as unstable as they'd claimed. When I got out, Uncle David was waiting in the parking lot. Get in the car, Rachel. We drove in silence to his house. Sophie was there, and 2 people I didn't recognize. A woman in a business suit, a man with a briefcase. This is Angela Reeves. Uncle David's voice was different, harder. Forensic accountant, and this is Tom Walsh, state financial aid fraud investigator. I looked between them, not understanding. You're not the only one who can play defeated, Uncle David said. And he smiled, not warm, not kind, predatory. While you were playing your part, I was building something better. Angela spread documents across the table, more paper, more evidence. But this time it was organized, professional. Federal financial aid fraud, identity theft, tax evasion, wire fraud. Your parents committed 17 distinct federal crimes over the course of 4 years. We have everything, Tom added. He pulled out a laptop, turned it toward me. Spreadsheets, transaction records, communications I'd never seen. Electronic trails, bank records going back 6 years, and something better. He pressed play on an audio file. My mother's voice filled the room, laughing, talking to someone on the phone. No, right? Rachel was so easy to manipulate, worked herself half to death while we lived well. The scholarship money? Best decision we ever made. And now with this fundraiser going, we're set for another year at least. People are so gullible. My vision blurred. Where did you get this? Your mother's friend, Sarah Bennett. She recorded it and brought it to us. She felt guilty, she said, about taking so long to see what your parents really were. Uncle David leaned forward. You've been granted immunity, full cooperation with investigators. We have enough to prosecute without you, but with your testimony, we can make sure they never hurt anyone again. But, Tom said carefully, they're planning something. Family dinner next week. Whole family invited. They think they've won. Think they've completely discredited you. We need you to go, Angela said. Wear a wire, get them to talk, get them to confess on tape. And if they don't? Then we prosecute anyway, but this would make the case ironclad. I looked at Tyler. He'd appeared in the doorway sometime during the explanation. He nodded at me. Steady, sure. I'll be there, he said. I'll back you up, whatever happens. I sat back in my chair, thought about 2 months living in my car, thought about 4 years of destroying myself while they laughed, thought about Tyler's daughters, about every future victim they'd find if someone didn't stop them. When's the dinner? Should I tell you what happened next? Comment below if you want the rest. The dinner was Saturday night. 6 days to prepare. 6 days to learn how to wear a wire without showing it. 6 days to practice staying calm while my skin crawled. I showed up at the gym, my old gym, where my expired membership meant I had to sneak in through a side door someone had propped open, and used the bathroom to make myself presentable. Washed my hair in the sink, put on the one clean shirt I had left, tried to look like a functioning human being instead of someone who'd been living in their car. Tyler picked me up 2 blocks from the house. Federal agents were parked in an unmarked van 3 streets over. listening, recording, ready to move if anything went wrong. "You ready?" Tyler asked. My hands were steady. That surprised me. After months of shaking, of fear and panic, my hands were completely steady. "Yeah. Federal agents are 2 blocks away. Anything goes wrong, they move in immediately." We walked to the door together. The house I'd grown up in. The house that used to mean safety and home and family. Now it just looked like a crime scene waiting to be processed. Mom opened the door. Her smile was massive, triumphant. "My babies! Oh, come in! Everyone's here!" Everyone was. Aunts, uncles, cousins, people I'd known my whole life, all gathered to watch. What? My final humiliation? My public breakdown? What was the end game here? Dad hugged me. His arms around me felt like a threat. I could feel his satisfaction radiating off him, the certainty that he'd won. We sat down for dinner. Mom had made pot roast, my favorite from when I was a kid. The smell made me nauseous. The conversation was normal at first. Cousins talking about jobs, kids, vacation plans. Aunt Sophie asked about my treatment, voice gentle and concerned. I said it was going well, that I was making progress. Mom beamed like a proud teacher whose student had finally learned their lesson. Halfway through dinner, Dad stood up, tapped his fork against his wine glass. The conversation died. "I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. These past months have been incredibly hard on our family. Watching Rachel struggle has broken our hearts." He looked at me, warm, fatherly, loving. "But I'm so proud of the progress you've made, sweetheart. So proud that you're getting help." This was it, the moment they wanted. Public acknowledgement of their version of events. "Do you want to say something, Rachel?" I stood up. Every eye in the room on me. I could feel the wire against my skin, hidden under my shirt, recording everything. "I do, actually. I want to apologize." Mom's smile was radiant. "I want to apologize for ever believing you were good people." The smile froze. "See, I've spent months playing a part, acting broken, acting defeated, and you bought it completely. You actually believed you'd destroyed me." Dad's face went hard. "Rachel, I'm not finished." I kept my voice level, calm. "I want everyone here to hear something." I pulled out my phone, pressed play on the recording. Mom's voice filled the dining room, laughing about how easy I was to manipulate, about the scholarship money being the best decision they ever made, about people being gullible enough to donate to the fundraiser. The silence was absolute. "That's not—" Mom started. Her face had gone white. "There's more." I nodded at Tyler. He stood up, pulled the folder from his bag, the one with all his documentation, all his evidence. "They did it to me, too," he said quietly. "My inheritance from Grandpa. $50,000 for my education. They spent it, then told me I'd imagined it. When I found proof, they threatened to take my daughters." "You're having an episode," Dad said, but his voice shook. His hands were trembling. "Both of you, this is Uncle David having an episode too?" Uncle David stood up from the far end of the table, walked to the head, pulled out papers. "The original scholarship documentation, $120,000, sent to Linda and James Morrison as guardians for Rachel Morrison, all of it detailed here." He read it aloud, every word, every number, every transfer. His voice was steady, clinical, damning. The family was silent. People were looking at my parents differently now, seeing something they'd missed before. "You forged my signature," I continued. My voice didn't shake. "Multiple times, refused scholarship money in my name without my knowledge. Then you intercepted the payments, used them for your own expenses while I destroyed myself working 3 jobs. "This is ridiculous," Mom said, but the tears weren't working anymore. People were looking at her with suspicion instead of sympathy. "You filed false financial aid forms, claimed me as a dependent when I filed independently. That's fraud, federal fraud. You also filed for aid in my name last month for a graduate program I'm not enrolled in. That's more fraud." Dad's face went from red to gray. "You can't prove—" Actually, we can. Angela Reeves stood up from where she'd been sitting quietly at the end of the table. Business suit, federal badge. Forensic accountant with the Fraud Investigation Unit. We've been building this case for 3 months. The doorbell rang. Tyler answered it. Federal agents walked in, 3 of them. Real ones this time. With badges and handcuffs and that particular official energy that makes everything feel suddenly, terrifyingly real. Linda and James Morrison? The lead agent held up his badge. You're under arrest for federal financial aid fraud, identity theft, wire fraud, and tax evasion. Mom clutched her chest. Did her heart attack act? The gasping, the grabbing, the whole performance. My heart, I can't. The agent didn't even blink. Ma'am, if you're experiencing a medical emergency, we'll call an ambulance. EMTs can meet us at the station. Otherwise, please stand up and place your hands behind your back. She stood up, because of course her heart was fine. There was never anything wrong. Just another manipulation, another lie. Dad tried a different approach. Voice reasonable, calm. This is clearly a misunderstanding. Our daughter has documented mental health issues. Sir, we have evidence. Extensive evidence. Bank records, recordings, forensic accounting, witness testimony. You have the right to remain silent. I strongly suggest you exercise that right. The handcuffs clicked shut around Mom's wrists. Then Dad's. The sound was loud in the silent dining room. Mom's tears were real now. Not the practiced ones, the desperate, ugly ones. Rachel, please, we're your parents. You can't do this to us. I looked at her. Really looked at her. This woman who'd given birth to me, who'd raised me, who I'd trusted more than anyone in the world. You're not my parents. Parents protect their children. You destroyed yours for money. They were led out, through the living room, past family photos on the walls, out the front door to a police car with lights flashing. The family sat frozen, watching. Some faces showed shame, others shock. Aunt Sophie had tears running down her face. She stood up slowly, walked over to me. I'm sorry, I should have believed you. Yeah, you should have. She nodded, accepted it, didn't make excuses. What happens now? My cousin Emma asked. Her voice was small, young. She was only 19. Trial, Uncle David answered. Sentencing. Restitution? They'll lose everything. And Rachel gets her life back, Tyler added. His arm was around me, steady. Sure. I wasn't sure about that part. Didn't know if you could get your life back after something like this. But I nodded anyway. The trial took 8 months, longest 8 months of my life. I testified for 3 days, went through every detail, every job, every sleepless night, every meal I'd skipped, the stress ulcer, the panic attacks, living in my car, the systematic destruction of my life while they lived well. My parents' lawyer tried to paint me as vindictive, unstable, lying for revenge, but the evidence was overwhelming. Bank records don't lie. Forensic accountants don't lie. Recordings don't lie. Tyler testified about his inheritance, about the threats, about the years of gaslighting. Uncle David testified about the letters they'd sent him, the lies they'd told to keep him away from me. Angela Reeves walked the jury through every transaction, every forged signature, every fraudulent form, made it impossible to deny. My mother cried through the whole trial, not for what she'd done, for getting caught. My father stayed blank, emotionless, like he'd already left his body. The jury deliberated for 6 hours, guilty on all counts. The courtroom was silent when the verdict was read. I watched my parents' faces crumble, watched them understand that their lives were over. Sentencing came 2 weeks later. The judge looked at them with undisguised contempt. You took advantage of your own children, systematically, deliberately. For years, you stole their futures to fund your lifestyle. When caught, you tried to destroy your daughter's sanity, her reputation, her entire life. My mother was sobbing. Your Honor, please. 8 years, federal prison, both of you. Additionally, you are ordered to pay $400,000 in restitution, the stolen scholarship funds, fraudulent aid, forged credit cards, fraudulent loans, and damages. Your assets will be liquidated to begin payment. 8 years. $400,000. Their house was seized, bank accounts frozen. Everything they'd bought with my money, the renovated kitchen, the new cars, the vacation photos they'd posted online, all of it taken away. Tyler got full custody of his daughters without challenge. No more threats, no more fear. I watched from the gallery as they were led away in chains. Mom was still crying, still performing, still trying to be the victim. I felt nothing, just emptiness where all that rage used to live. Outside the courthouse, reporters were waiting. Apparently, this case had gotten attention. Financial fraud by parents destroys daughter's future made good headlines. I gave one statement. Short. Simple. This can happen to anyone. The people who should protect you the most can hurt you the deepest. But documentation matters. Truth matters. Persistence matters. Don't let anyone make you doubt your reality. Then I walked away. 3 years later, I'm still putting my life back together. It's not easy. Some things don't heal. I finished my bachelor's degree, had to retake some classes because I'd been too exhausted to do them properly the first time. Now I'm in a master's program. Social work, full scholarship from Uncle David's foundation, properly managed this time, with oversight and documentation. I run a nonprofit now, small operation, help victims of family financial fraud. Teach them about red flags, about documentation, about how to protect themselves when the people who should love them are destroying them instead. I met someone, Marcus, not Marcus Chin, the lawyer who abandoned me, but Marcus Rivera, a therapist who specializes in family trauma. We met at a conference. He understood without me having to explain. Some days that understanding is the only thing that keeps me sane. Tyler and I have dinner every Sunday, with Uncle David and Sophie, our real family, the chosen one. His girls call me Aunt Rachel. They're 4 now, smart, beautiful, safe. I still have nightmares. Still wake up in my apartment. I have an apartment now, a real one with heat and walls that aren't held together with duct tape, and forget where I am. Still check my bank account obsessively. Still flinch when someone says, "Trust me." Still can't eat pot roast, but I'm healing. Slowly. It's not linear. Some days I'm fine. Some days I'm back in my car behind that grocery store, feeling erased. Therapy helps. Marcus helps. Tyler helps. Work helps. Having a purpose helps. My parents write letters sometimes. From prison. Long letters explaining how they did it for my own good. How I'm ungrateful. How I destroyed their lives. How could I do this to them? I don't respond. Haven't opened one in over a year. Some lessons you only learn through consequences. And some people never learn at all. To anyone going through something like this, and I know you're out there, I get emails every week from people trapped in similar situations. Here's what I want you to know. Document everything, every conversation, every transaction, every moment you feel gaslit or crazy or wrong. You're probably not wrong. Trust your instincts. Find people who believe you, even if it's just one person. That's enough to keep going. The truth is stronger than lies, but only if you're willing to fight for it. And fighting means surviving. Surviving means refusing to let them erase you. I survived. Barely. Some days by seconds. But I'm still here. They didn't win. They took 4 years of my life, my trust, my innocence, my sense of safety in the world. But they didn't take me. If you're in this situation right now, living in your car or sleeping on friends' couches or wondering if you're crazy, if everyone around you is telling you you're wrong and you're starting to believe them, you're not crazy. You're not wrong. Document everything. Find help. Keep fighting. You'll survive this, too. And when you come out the other side, scarred and tired and different than you were before, you'll be stronger than they ever imagined you could be. That strength, that's the only thing they gave me worth keeping.